I saw a video that was circulating around YouTube and I ignored it. Didn't really pay much mind to it, and it was referring to uh, this cult group that's called Nature Boy TV and Melanation. And I kept ignoring it, kept ignoring it, kept ignoring it. Different people were posting videos about these young people that was basically stranded in Costa Rica. They were arrested. And so I decided to stop. Ringo TV Raw had posted two of the videos that was recorded in Costa Rica by this cult leader. And I'm calling him a cult leader because that's exactly what it is. Now, there's not really much I can say that Ringo had not already said. I agree with just about everything that Ringo said on his video. Now, I'm going to put a link to the video on the bottom of the two videos that Ringo posted. Okay, and you guys go and check it out. And it's when these young people were on this bus. Now, allegedly, they were stopped by the police and they were asked to show their paperwork. And the dude, the cult leader, resisted. He was sitting on the bus and he was talking about how, they got away from that system and they refused to show their paperwork. They weren't going to sign anything. Well, after a while, the police decided to come on there and take them off. They were nice. These cops were very nice. But this dude was talking about he was willing to die. And he wasn't thinking about the people that was following him. These young people that were blindly following him. Now, they were young, but they weren't too young because they were in their 20s, middle to late 20s. And so they followed this dude blindly to Costa Rica. Now, this reminds me of David Koresh. If you remember him, he was a cult leader. Jim Jones, they led people to their death. I can also include the Nation of Islam, and there's quite a few other groups out there, not just these white cult followers, but you have so many black cult followers where old and young people are following them blindly in the name of blackness and in the name of freedom. Now, when I listened to this brother, I somewhat felt sorry for him and these young people. Now, the young ladies that were with him, there were maybe about 4 young women, and the rest were dudes. They had a couple of white dudes, and they had some brothers there. And I kind of felt sorry for them because when he was talking and he refused to get off the bus, I detected there was so much hopelessness in these young people, and it's like there was so much hopelessness that they felt they had to be free from this system, from life as we know it. And they just wanted to exist out in nature, to drink water in nature, to eat plants in nature. Because I'm sure that they listened to so many other people on the internet that claim to have so much knowledge. Now, much of what a lot of these brothers or so-called conscious people teach is good information. But it's good information to those people that can handle that information. Not everybody is ready to handle that information. And that's why I believe, from what I know of, so many preachers keep certain members in the dark. Because if they were to really start sharing reality to them, if they really begin to start opening their minds up to the Matrix, like in the movie The Matrix, they are not able to handle it. Now, I know from past experience or from past observation, because I've never experienced that. I know young men that were studying all types of information. Malachi Z. York, Nation of Islam, the Bible, Quran, Gods and Earth, and all of this information that different cult groups within the black community claim to have in the name of blackness. Egyptology, the Metu Neter, and the information that he received. He was a very smart young man, still in high school, but he could not handle it, and to this day, he is out of his mind. He walks down the street barefooted, man, glass on the ground, just mumbling nonsense out of his head, man, because he was not able to handle the information. I know a young lady the same way, and she was walking around saying that she was ISIS. She, as well, lost her mind. Literally lost her mind. So there's people that cannot handle certain information. This information I know, that I've studied, that I won't even utter to most people. There's only very select few, and even those people, I'm very selective on what I say, because a lot of times you may see somebody that may appear to be strong. They may appear to be knowledgeable, but yet they are weak. They are full of weakness, man, and they're not able to handle it. Just because a person rattles off information don't mean they know. And looking in this dude's eyes, man, as he talked through this camera, I can feel his pain. And you can see in his eyes that he was lost. But yet he had a group of young people, beautiful young ladies. And I've watched his videos in the past, and they just walk around in Costa Rica naked. Hardly no clothes on. And it's just those females and these dudes, only God above knows what goes on. And in their minds, they were more than likely thinking about repopulating and starting their own culture. The same thing that David Koresh and Jim Jones had in mind. Elijah Muhammad was accused of sleeping with underage females. That's not a new thing. And it's like every generation, you have some cult leader that rises up and in time is cut short. So these young people refuse to get off the bus. You can tell that some other young people wanted to get off, but they were following him. He had the loudest voice and he kept talking. No. And it's amazing, man, how peer pressure of one individual can control the minds of so many young people to have them get passports and go to an entirely different country to live in the wild. To live in the wild away from civilization and to listen to these young women. They're beautiful young ladies. But their minds have been seared, man. Their minds have been controlled by this one individual person that's not even charismatic. But he led these young people in a situation that they couldn't get out. Now, when they were asked to identify themselves, they refused, but there's two white dudes on there that had their passports that had not expired. Their passports expired. Right? But these white dudes, they still had time on their passport and they showed it. In time to come, they released these two white boys. So now this cult leader start talking, well, they released them because they're white. And maybe there might be some truth to that because they weren't from America. They were from France and they were from Canada. So he had influence over the minds of people of a totally different country and talked them into going to Costa Rica with them to live off the land. And so what ended up happening, the cops came on there, beat them down, and they were holding them, and right now they're about to be deported back to the United States. And out of all the madness that he was talking, and there's not really much more I can say because Ringo covered all the areas that I was going to talk about, but he had so much talk on that bus, trying to sound radical in front of those young people. And I'm not even going to call them his people because he has no power over them. The only power he have over them is the power they're allowed to. But they're still individual people. And so he led those young people, man, to where they could have been where they were beaten. They could have been raped. One girl had a big bruise on her thigh, on her butt, almost her butt area. And I'm looking at these young people, and in a way, they look so innocent, man. You can see innocence in these kids, man. To my knowledge, they weren't drinking, they weren't smoking, but they just seemed so innocent. But yet, they were trying to escape this life as we know it here. Just think of the number of young people and even older people, but I'm focusing on the young people that thinks the same way. Hopelessness. What happened in their home, or what weren't they taught in their homes to make them feel so hopeless that they had to leave? And you mean to tell me that there was no family members at all, no friends that talked them or convinced them not to go? Do you mean to tell me that there was so much of a lack of love for these young people that the parents, if they are around, had no authority over their children's lives or minds? That they had to leave and follow this dude blindly to Costa Rica, riding around in a car that wasn't even their own, that wasn't registered, that was stopped and refused to give up their paperwork, and were beaten, and only God above knows what could have happened to those young people. They put them behind bars, and you should have seen the cage. If you watch these videos, you will see where those young people ended up. And the girl was talking about they were smelling a fruit to try to kill the smell of piss that was all over the cell. They were caged like animals, following behind a cult leader that cared nothing about them. And the only thing he mentioned or talked about was death. About how he's willing to lose his life. But he was doing nothing to try to save the lives of those young people that followed him. Now, this young man, when he was talking, renounced America, F this, F the embassy. But then he ended up calling the same embassy for help. You mean to tell me they ain't coming down here for help? They ain't trying to help us? They're not trying to find now. He watched too much TV. Because he thought the minute America found out or got word that they were there, they were supposed to send out the bombs and the planes and the Marines, the army. They were supposed to come immediately to get them out of that situation. That's not how it worked, bro. That is not how it worked. And young people should learn from this experience right here. Stop following these folks blindly. And I'm being nice by referring to them as folks. Stop following them. We make videos warning you guys, and you guys turn on us. You call us coons. Call us out of our names. And then you end up in situations like this. They just got done burying this girl in Chicago being found in a freezer, allegedly drunk or high, which allegedly somebody probably slipped her something, some so-called friends, and she's dead now. And she lied to her mother. But yet these are young adults that's of age. And you followed this dude blindly. Haven't you learned by what happened in Chicago? And I know these are two totally different situations. But the results could have been the same. You could have ended up being beaten, which you were beaten, and raped. And those girls had no protection at all. These dudes did not fight back. They had no guns. They couldn't fight back. They were outnumbered and outgunned. And this one girl, man, she called this dude her husband. When they were beating him, she dived on top of him to protect him, which he should have been trying to protect her. But he was being beaten. She jumped on him to protect, and they drug her. They beat and drugged this girl for trying to protect this dude that got her in that situation in the very first place. And you have so many females that defend these dudes in their madness, in their wrong. Now, these girls wasn't completely innocent because they made a choice for themselves. And I'm almost sure they had family members or friends that whispered in their ear and told them, or maybe even begged and pleaded them not to go, but they ignored the call. They ignored the warning, like so many people do nowadays. They ignore the warning that comes to them. And they feel this is my life, and I'm grown, and I do not have to listen to you, old man. And they end up in situations or worse, like this. So she was protecting the dude that was supposed to have been protecting her. And she got drugged and beat. Now, again, like I said, of course, there's a lot I can say, but everything that I wanted to say, Ringo said it already. I couldn't have said it any better. But if you go to Ringo's channel, you would see it. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to put a link to those videos. I'm going to put a link to Ringo's channel. And if you go to Ringo's channel, you'll probably see like the first 3 videos. You'll see it. You can't miss it. Watch those videos. And you will see that, and Ringo gave, to me, that's the best video Ringo has ever made. And he's been on YouTube for a while. Right? But that's the best video he ever made and the best advice that he could have given. But it's sad that you have so many people out there following cult leaders blindly in the name of blackness, in the name of knowledge, in the name of consciousness. They're losing their souls. So check out Ringo's channel. I'm going to put the link on the bottom. Share and subscribe this video. If you choose to, click on the PayPal link, donate to this channel. But yet, young people, listen, man. Don't follow anyone blindly. Stop. Life get hard, man. I know it gets hard sometimes, man. Sometimes it seems like there's so much hopelessness, man. There's no hope at all. But you ever hear that saying that there's always light at the end of the tunnel? You just have to reach that light. And that light is already in you. You just have to make the right choices. Get away from the wrong crowd. Those young women, man, are intelligent. You can tell that these are intelligent, but so innocent. I see so much innocence in these young women. But yet, at the same time, there's circumstances, hopelessness in their lives led them down a dead-end road. And that so-called leader, that cult leader, that was talking so much trash and garbage became scared, because when he was talking to that white woman on the phone, the embassy, he was saying, we don't know what's going to happen to us. We're really scared because it doesn't feel right. He was scared. He was, without begging and pleading, he was begging and pleading for help. But yet, he could have avoided everything that happened to him. All he had to do was show his documentation and sign whatever paperwork that they had to sign. And they told him, you will be on your way. But instead, he was talking madness, violence, death. He resisted, and then got on the phone and lied to this white woman about what really happened. And he almost led those young people to their death. Now they're still there. Their phones were taken from them, and he was still talking smack to them. But he's in a totally different country. I told y'all in videos of the past, man, I've been out of country, man. I've been practically around the world, and I tell you, there's no place like here. There's no place like America, man. I'm telling you. They have their issues here, man, but there's no place like this place, man. I know from experience. So, what more can I say? But anyway, I'm going to put Ringo's channel link on the bottom, and you go check that brother's channel out. You know, but it really saddened my heart, man, to watch them, to listen to them. And those young ladies have no one to protect them, man. The two white dudes, they let them go and they left. Just goes to show that they weren't really ride or die. They got out of that situation. They got out. They were the smart two that got out. After they realized that they were fighting a losing battle, when they offered them a way out, they took it. And then one dude came and made a video about it. Then started talking junk. But he left them behind. See? So, feedback, subscribe. Until next time. I'm fearless.